It's time to do a pH test on my rhubarb garden. I have some sort of deficiency. You can see, well, I don't know if you can, but there's yellow blotchy in that leaf. It's all like that. And from this, then the leaf will start to rot and it gets a fungal disease coming in. So I am, little bird's flitting around, going to do a pH test, which should be the first thing you do to diagnose any problems. Have a look at what the acidic level is of your soil. If it's too acidic, your plant can't actually absorb the nutrition. A lot of the bacteria and fungus won't work at different pH levels. So let's just start with that first, and then we'll go from there. When you want to get your soil sample for your pH test, if you're looking at a whole paddock or your whole garden, you want to get an idea, you take about 10 samples across your garden, mix the soil up, and then take a sample off that. And that's like an average result that'll give you. This was my worst rhubarb. I've totally skeletonized it. So I figure I'm actually just going to take the sample from there. So you take a profile of the soil. I've dug down and I'm going to take my shovelful down and then put it on my white lid. Before I do that, something that's really important we should all do is put a shovel in our soil. I've just done this for the first time ever, probably in my rhubarb garden, except when I'm digging it up. You know, this gets worm leachate every 2 weeks, and after that it gets fish emulsion, but there's no life in this soil. This soil has no worms. No worms is gives you a good indicator that there's no bacteria in my soil. Good bacteria, because that's what worms eat, as well as other things. And the soil, that's our standard colour of our soil, but it's loose and crumbly. We've had plenty of rain and I can't really feel any moisture in there. So this tells me I've been pretty slack actually with my rhubarb as far as mulching goes, organic matter like compost and mulching. So I really have to step up and fix things up with this rhubarb garden, particularly because they are such heavy feeders. So let's do this little pH test. What we do, you don't need a huge sample. Give your pH indicator. In fact, you don't need a huge sample at all. Get rid of the stones. Just a little splotch there. You get these pH kits from Bunnings, anywhere really. They're pretty stock standard. Put the pH indicator in there. Now I'm going to saturate. I've probably put too much in. Yeah, it is a little bit wet. Mix it up. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is get the barium powder and spray it on. Whatever colour it goes, with the powder on there, is my pH. That's a greeny colour. You give it a minute. We'll give that a minute and I'll get my colour indicator and we'll see what colour that goes. So here's the colour chart. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. The greens are where we want it. We want our pH around about neutral. So most plants like the acidic side of neutral, so about 6.5 to 7. Neutral is 7. And I know rhubarb likes kind of a neutral soil. Compare your colour. Hard to see up close. It's actually, I know it looks about there, but I don't know, I would say it's below 6.5. It's even a possibility I'm actually leaning towards 5, which is very acidic. Well, not very acidic, but pretty acidic, and certainly more acidic than what rhubarb likes. So I'm going to put some lime down on my rhubarb garden all the way along. Quite a lot. And that can take weeks for it to settle in and to make an adjustment on the pH, but it's probably going to help with that lime. You can get lime from Bunnings, you can get it from anywhere, and it's cheap as chips. We've got some there. So I'm going to put some lime down on all of this, and I think it's about time for me to get some rock dust on here as well for some minerals. And to help solve this problem of the texture of my soil, the structure of my soil, I need to get some compost. I'm a bit short at the moment, so what I'm going to do is just get a heap more straw. I don't have enough compost to do this garden, so I'm just I might get some newspaper and some straw. That's the best I can do at the moment for a large area like this. So I've trekked over into the Karri Forest alongside our property. The most premium soil, Karri loam soil, one of the best in the world. So what I'm going to do is take a pH sample over here, because ideally I'm going to imagine this is pretty much neutral, but let's just have a look. So I'm just going to clear all the mulch away first of all to try and get down to the soil. I know there's a lot of mulch here from all the leaf litter, and we'll give it a go. Oh, it all just ran off. Oh, well, that's not working. Let's see if we can recover some of that. It's my pH indicator. There we go. Okay, wet it up. Good. Get the barium. And we'll wait a minute. Big difference. We're looking at 7.5 pH. Beautiful, sort of more on the alkaline side of neutral, but that's still a perfect pH. I'd be quite happy for that in my fruit orchard. Ideally, yeah, 6.5 to 7.2 or 3, but you can definitely see the difference in colour there. So I definitely need to get some lime onto my rhubarbs and loads of mulch. Here's a little side note. The white stuff on this leaf litter mulch in the Karri Forest, that's fungus. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want. So a little gardening hack with your compost. If you're making a compost, go into a forest, bushland, where you see it to be ideal vegetation, and take some of the topsoil, take some of the leaf litter, because you'll inoculate your compost with this fungus. And that's what I'm going to go do. I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to go get some bags and I'm going to put some of this stuff around my rhubarbs, because I figure this stuff is helping to create the perfect pH. So it's going to, with the lime, it can only be helpful. After testing the pH in here and learning that it's pretty low, which is probably one of the base reasons I'm having all these problems with my rhubarb, and then testing the pH in the forest next door, which is 7.7, which is a bit more alkaline than what rhubarb would like, I've gone halfway. So I went and got a heap of horse poo from the horse yard, making sure I'm not putting it around too close to the stems. I've skeletonized these rhubarbs, and I have given them some lime as well. We had liquid lime left over, but honestly, get powdered stuff from hardware store. It's much easier, sprinkle it around. And now I will say the forest next door is not a national park. And I just went and got some leaf mulch, and I made sure I grabbed stuff with fungus on it, because I'm hoping that that good fungus, which makes that healthy environment there, will compete against the bad fungus that I've got here. If I can get that nutrition of the soil up as high as I can, get the good fungus into the soil as well, introduce that, it might all start looking after itself again. I just think I've neglected this soil, and these rhubarbs have just produced and produced and produced for me non-stop. So these bags of rhubarb and, not rhubarb, horse poo and the mulch from the forest as well. So I'll give that a go, and we'll see how it all grows back. But it's all about your soil, not about your plants. I always think, what does my soil need? How can I bring my soil back to nature? What would nature do right now if it had to try and fix this? What is it happens in the forest? The leaves drop, it creates mulch. Fungus grows, which outcompetes bad fungus. Helps compete against bad insects. All that sort of stuff. Okay, bye.